ever so well, cutting out, and he gets around his man in Bush. Tony Vidmar, great turn inside, well played. Vidmar, in comes the ball. The overhead with 10 to come from Aaron Bassett. The ball inside and hooked away. Australia still have possession. Ocon keeping his cool. Blagojevich and Kidner and John, you just sensed something was going to happen there, but there's the ball. Aaron Bassett and the communication letting them down. And the ball looking for Murphy. Or was he held back by Robert Roost? Here's the chance for Vidmar! The goal! The goal for Australia! Tony Vidmar's put it away! 1-0! 25 minutes in! Trying to get it on for Aaron Bassett. Murphy, I thought he was going to win that challenge. Here's a good run, a great run coming from Overmars. The shot and a great save by Byron because he was coming out thinking should he come out for it. He was backpedaling and he took it well. The overlap coming on. The Dutch have got numbers in the centre. Great save by Byron, an important save. So Roost at the near post. They're looking for near post. And that's gone in off Murphy. Absolute tragedy for Australia. Roost was waiting at the near post. And the corner has taken a deflection off the Australians. There's a good run coming in. And Overmars is in the centre. He's got a free passage to goal. And just wide from Overmars. It's just not there at the moment.
Well, and mainly they're going through the middle, Andy, which is not probably the easiest way to get through.
Well, was Aaron Bassett clipped? Was he clipped by Mus? The fans say yes. I'd love to see that on replay. Now Australia have to defend Blagojevich. Well, I thought he was pushed off a little bit there. Numan, an exciting player. Numan, saved by Byron though. He got down well, and they'll just play for the time factor.
And a very warm welcome to all viewers in Australia to our coverage on SBS of the whole of the game here in Utrecht. We're bringing it to you live, and as you join us, you see the Netherlands team lining up. The famous orange and white strip of the Netherlands side. Australia, of course, will be playing in their traditional green and yellow. But we're looking at the Netherlands lineup first of all. 3 changes made from the team which drew in Sydney 1-1 just 7 days ago, and the 3 players introduced are Michel Kreek, Gaston Taumant and Eric Meyer. They have come in place of Rob Mars, Philip Cocu and Ronald de Boer. And here is the Australian lineup with some familiar names there for you back home. And the only doubt in the mind of the coach, I think, today was who to play in the number 10 jersey. In the end, he's opted, as Eddie Thompson, for Gary Hassler rather than George Slivkas. And he does tell me that he'll be playing a very similar formation to the one employed last week. Our official today, by the way, is Philippe Leduc from France. And Australia's intention is to leave one lone striker, Zlatko Arambasic, up front, but hope that he gets a good supply from Steve Refanes, the flyer down the wing, and also from midfield. He'll be expecting Hassler to drive forward, and the two fullbacks as well, Blajovic and Vidmar. So the stadium here has a capacity of about 20,000. It's by no means full. I would estimate there are probably 8,000 or 9,000 in this stadium. But the prize is a simple one. It's a simple equation. The winners today will go to Barcelona for the Olympic Games this summer. The 1-1 draw last week, less than Australia had hoped for. And it was that own goal in the second half from Shaun Murphy, which really rocked the Socceroos as they've become known. A 1-0 victory would have been ideal. And initially the ball is played back by the captain Zelic. And goalkeeper Phelan rolling it out. So the Australians playing from right to left as we look down on the pitch here in the Hallenwad Stadium in Utrecht. And already we've got a bit of a wave going on around the ground. I don't think you can quite pick it up. There are some Australians here. Indeed, I've just been talking to the one Australian journalist who's made the trip over here, George van Zenden, who's a Dutch extract. So he was only too pleased to come home, as it were, after 40 years. Dutch starts to build from the back. That ball lays forward for Ibets. First free kick of the game awarded against Australia. The sweeper at the back is Rob Rust, and he has played it out wide for Kanabek. That's another pretty stern challenge. The referee raised the whistle to his lips and decided not to blow it. And Australia, I know, are hoping to put some pressure on the Dutch in the first 15 or 20 minutes. They would, of course, see themselves very much in the driving seat if they got the first goal. Here, going forward impressively, is Zelic, and it was a hard shot as well, which will be cleared. And 21 players were in the Dutch half at that moment. Eddie Thompson has spelled it out to his team in no uncertain terms the way he wants them to approach this game. This first 15 or 20 minutes is going to be vital to the final outcome. Out on this touchline is Vidmar. Nicely checked inside, and that's good play from Vidmar as well, finding Longo. On goes Boer. Picked up, Basic was in there for it, and it's gone back for Longo again. Coming forward now, Ocon, who had a touch of flu earlier in the week, but he seems to have got over that. Vidmar was also suffering, but he too happily has recovered. For the Dutch. Question of whether Meyer can do anything with it, and that's rather sloppily given away. I have to stress to you that it is very, very hot here in Utrecht. Skirmish there, just inside the Australian half. Arambasic involved, as indeed was Rob Rust. I was saying it's extremely hot, much warmer than it was in Sydney a week ago for that 1-1 draw. In fact, the Dutch players were complaining about the heat in Sydney, so goodness knows what they make of this. The free kick already taken quickly, and Gore finding him out on that touchline, the small figure of Overmars, only a tiny man, but he's got some pace, and there Milan Blajovic is going to have something on his hands today. Australia's throw. 0-0 score, 4 minutes gone. The ball running kindly here. Once more Overmars out there. And a long sweeping ball, which Talbot will do well to keep in play. And another free kick is going to be given. Not much doubt about that one. That was what's called a firm challenge from Tony Vidmar. Carrying the wrath of the French referee, told just to calm things down. There's no doubt about it, the Australians are very much psyched up for this. They had a team meeting just 2.5 hours ago. It lasted only about 15 minutes, but they were told in no uncertain terms what to do today. Here's the free kick for Holland. It's a poor one. They're lobbed back in, and a first capture today for goalkeeper John Phelan, man from Wollongong City. That again was a selection headache because Mark Bosnich, who's playing over in England these days for Aston Villa, was very much in the frame to come into the team. But in the end, Eddie Thompson opting for the experience of Pyler. We expect the game to be played at a slowish pace with rapier-like thrusts every now and again in the heat. The surface is good. It's by no means a big stadium, though. The crowd a little disappointing after the 19,000 in Sydney last week. And in again, Vidmar, very sharp indeed, but that was a fair tackle by him. And it's Australia's throw in. Over the top of Hassler. And the helmet option here for Zelic. And Ned Zelic, I'm sure, along with many of his compatriots today, eager to put on a good performance with a number of European clubs said to be interested in acquiring his services. The ball breaking for Holland, and there's a lot of movement off the ball, but forced wide. That was good challenging back by Aaron Batic, making sure they had no space down the touchline. Driving forward now is Rust. Wasn't a good ball again, and Zelic has dealt very comfortably with everything so far. Just worth reminding you, though, that a goalless draw would be only of benefit to Holland after the 1-1 draw last week. If we should have a 1-1 scoreline again today, then the match would go into extra time, and we could, of course, have a penalty shootout as well to decide just which team goes to Barcelona. But the Australians have made quite a good start here. They look confident on the ball. That might have been worth a free kick. The challenge there was a pretty strong one on Gibson. Pagojevic called for number 8, Paul Ocon, forced back once more. And, well, nothing much for Longo to do but to turn it back to his goalkeeper again. I know Eddie Thompson isn't thinking of a high-scoring game here. He doesn't believe that there'll be more than a goal between these two sides at the end of the day. That's a good header forward again. And here are Australia inside the area, and a good turn and an excellent effort from Aaron Batic. It flew no more than a couple of feet over the top of the Dutch crossbar. And this is the first really exciting moment of the game. Aaron Batic showing he's sharp at the moment. Good effort. Well, he's been playing in Belgium for the past 2.5 years with Mechelen. And is looking for a move, and that will have impressed would-be buyers. Again, Australia sweep forward. The ball laid out. It was a refinesse. It's broken down. Oh, tackle. Well, we really are diving in a little bit at the moment. So that was Shaun Murphy's challenge. A few spectators were wincing at the strength of that one. The ball is laid down the line by Refos, and Refos has continued a good run here, and that's danger. Phylan making the angle difficult for the cross. And doing well, John Phylan, who's missed only one match in 2 years for the Australian national side. There was dangerous work there between Refos and Gore. This is the right full-back, Errol Refos, who plays for SVV. Interesting that both sides have got players representing 10 different clubs. So it's not always easy to knit together quickly under those circumstances. This is a good run. Oh, and it's not a bad-looking ball either. It's just eluded Mayer. Turning and checking and feeding the ball inside. An intelligent run made by Craig. So back come Australia. Reference looking to use his pace, and my word, he's got some. He is quick. But he's just been run out of it this time by Refos, who wins the applause of the crowd here. But that's going to be a good contest because both men are quick. Errol Refos and his opposite number there, Steve Reference. Numan. foul this time. Referee having a close look at Murphy's challenge. So Michel Craik will take the throw in. This time it certainly will be a free kick. Blajovic has already been taken. Numan's in there tussling for it, and he's still here, edge of the penalty area. Numan tries to get the shot in, it cannoned away. Not a bad effort on the turn by Meyer. Eric Meyer, who hasn't yet scored for his national side, apart from in a friendly game against Willem. So we've seen both centre-forwards having similar situations, turning on shots and being unable to find the net. But 10 minutes gone, it's still Holland 0, Australia 0. Nicely won in the air for Australia by Murphy. He's a key man, I fancy, for them today. Very combative player. The Dutch do like to dwell on the ball. It can sometimes be their undoing. And once again, Rost, who looks very comfortable. He's found Numan, is the playmaker of the side, and Numan's long ball intercepted this time by Zelic. But having mixed with the Australian party earlier today, I can tell you they're supremely confident. They're not overawed at all about this game. Oh, and that's Adam Basic. Good turn again. And he's got a free kick as well. And a challenge by Canabek. Obviously, having the opportunity to go to the Olympic Games and to play in Barcelona is incentive enough for every one of these 22 players out here. I remember seeing the Australians in South Korea 4 years ago when they were beaten by Brazil, but they'd given a good account of themselves up until then, defeating Yugoslavia along the way. Here is the free kick driven in and just beyond Murphy, but it's going to be a corner kick. Ball coming off the left fullback of Rob Rost. So Australia's first corner. And Murphy is the one who's going to go up onto the line. It'll be taken by John Gibson. A bit of jostling going on involving Murphy on the near post. And it'll be curled in towards the goalkeeper. A delightful little flick, and that was danger. And the Dutch have rather got away with that. They were caught sleeping at that corner kick. And coming in on the back post was Tony Vidmar, the man who scored last week in Sydney, and he had a chance of repeating the trick then. Fortune just didn't favour him with the touch away, but the Dutch rather escaping there. It's a bit of a let-off. They come forward, and that's a terrific long ball driven out to that far side to Overmars. So the Australians are quitting themselves rather well at the moment, and they've perhaps contrived the two best openings so far. How good this man is on the ball. Good run by Zelic, and he's got the free kick as well. Now, Zelic must have gone 40, 50 yards there before getting the free kick conceded by Eric Meyer. And that's just how good he is when he pours forward like that, Zelic. He looks a real quality player. And the man in your picture, Meyer, could do no more than bring him down. So Vidmar with this free kick for Australia. And they've got 4 men inside the Dutch penalty area. Swung over to that far side, and the Dutch are able to deal with it well, and it's given Overmars the chance to break. And he's taken on Blajovic, and he's made good ground already, cutting the ball back. And the fullback with a very Yugoslavian name, Blajovic, who's been given orders to stick very closely to Overmars, then did well. Didn't quite have the pace, but he knew exactly where his man had gone. No point in taking any risks at this stage, and I think the ball is going to come back to the goalkeeper, Thailand, no matter what happens. Shaun Murphy, the former St George man, now from Wollongong City. Blajovic tries to do something up front there, and that's good play. Here is Hassler. Hassler seen as a key man because of his sort of biting qualities in the midfield. He's worked it out here for Steve Refenes. That's a good turn once more. Vidmar. They're controlling the ball well at the moment, and again Zelic hits it on the left foot. Well, I say hits it. It was a rather tepid effort in the end from Ned Zelic, but again he got into good position courtesy of his strength and skill on the ball. Nil-nil it is. And so far it's bearing out what the Australian coach Eddie Thompson predicted, that it was going to be a close game. But I would feel that the Australians are very happy with the way that they've counteracted everything the Dutch have thrown at them so far. The Dutch very firm favourites in their own country to win this one today. It was a poor throw in. They're still trying to make something of it. Now in possession is Carnabeck. Overmars. And a good forward run made by Rost here. A good interception as well. That's exactly why Paul Ocon is important to this side, but the Dutch winning it back, and this is in a tricky position. And it had to be knocked straight up in the air by Vidmar. Unfortunately, it went straight to his own goalkeeper. Passing pursued by Taument, and Hasler's played a good ball here. Refenes again testing his pace, and the ball worked back once more by Rekos, and again the crowd warming to Rekos' performance against Refenes. And away goes Gore. He's got some pace as well. Straightens up the middle. He's onside, is he? Well, they were looking to the linesman, and in fact the linesman on this near side of the field did signal that it was offside against Eric Mayer. Longo. Coming deep for it is Ocon. And Ocon, a looped ball which should get through to the goalkeeper. Paul Ocon has had so many problems with tendinitis in the left knee. They wanted him here today for this one, though. He's one of the more skillful players. Well, the Dutch are renowned for their fluid football. It used to be called total football in the days of the great players like Cruyff, Van Hanegem, Ruud Krol and Neskins. They did have some great players. They've struggled a little bit in more recent times, but this is very much the future of the Dutch and Australian national sides, and this time Zelic has just overdone it a fraction. Vidmar. That surely is offside. Long way offside, Aaron Basic. Told they're looking for $500,000 for him of the Belgian side, Mechelen. Vidmar is too strong for Taument, and in fact Taument then took retribution out on the man who'd taken the ball from him. So it's an Australian free kick. Played by Zelic. It's just gone beyond Blajovic, but he's got there now. Might win the corner kick if nothing else here. And he'd settle for that, but in fact it was Overmars who'd got back to make sure that nothing more than a goal kick accrued. It's a real cat and mouse game, and it's quite interesting at the moment. Only a couple of efforts on goal. One from the centre forward on either side, Aaron Basic for Australia and Mayer for Holland. Looped into no man's land. This will give an opportunity for Rust to start things off again for the Dutch. Just beyond Taument, who didn't really read it. That's resulted in Vidmar bringing it clear. The safety first policy again. But how nice it is to see some of the spectators, as you can see in the background there. They're chested today. It's an absolute scorcher here in Holland. More sort of weather you'd expect to see on Bondi Beach. Good interception here. And that's nicely played out first time by Shaun Murphy as well. Bajovic. He's got time on his side. He's got some space as well. The cross has to be good, and it is good. Oh, and the goalkeeper making the punch there as Aaron Basic was challenging for it. Good crossing by Bajovic, and Aaron Basic is actually down in the penalty area. The referee has waved play on. Chance is still here for Australia inside the Dutch penalty area, and the ball is nicked away in the end by Gore. And Aaron Basic is back on his feet. But that was a real moment of excitement there inside the Dutch penalty area. And Zoetebier did quite well, I have to say, punching the ball clear. Here's Zelic again. So impressive, Zelic. And again, he almost wormed his way through. Went past at least 4 players there. And he looks as likely as anybody to break the deadlock in this game. Chipped forward here by Numan. Thailand just making sure that his feet were inside the penalty area as he collected the ball. Well, occasionally the Australians are looking extremely dangerous inside the Dutch area. And every time Zelic gets forward, they're not quite sure how to counteract it. Bajovic is taking up a very, very advanced position down the right touchline. He's by no means acting purely and simply as a right full-back in this game. The ball this time from Longo. It was over Mars and he's gone down the left. The ball instead is reversed in field for Ibets. And given away once more. And Refernes set off, but almost like a greyhound out of the traps there, but he overdid it. Now Vidmar loses possession. Danger here. Talmant is the man on the ball for Holland. The crowd giving a bit of a roar. Talmant is a real favourite. Goes on. And it's gone out of play from Zelic. And Zelic, in fact, remonstrating with the linesman, but he did his job nonetheless in making sure that ball went out of play. His Talmant looked extremely dangerous going on his outside. Corner kick given. Chance for Overmars to swing it in, which he will do with the left foot, as you can see. This is a problem very capably dealt with indeed. Murphy will be pleased at getting that one away. Remember, it was his own goal from a corner kick in the early moments of the second half last week in Sydney, which left the tie deadlocked at 1-1. So a reminder here that a 0-0 draw would suffice for Holland. Australians really need to win. And here is Talmant inside their penalty area. Covered by 2 defenders already. Chance for Gore to sweep the ball in, which he does, and the clearance. Then Hasler's controlled, just about letting him down, and then he's recovered and hit that long ball towards Aaron Basic. Clearance was by Kanabek. And Australia's scrapping for it well. That's why Hasler's been brought into the team, and this is going to be a free kick. And the referee, I think, considering a booking the first of the game, and if it is administered, it will be Michel Craig who gets it. That is why. And the French referee gives the yellow card to Craig. So the first caution of the game goes to the Dutch midfield man, Michel Craig from Ajax. The referee was reasonably lenient in the early minutes of this game, and there were players on either side who could have found their way into his little black book, but Craig has done. There's talk of Craig being chosen for the Dutch national side for the European Championship finals, which begin in Sweden next month. And the Dutch certainly have got some wonderful performers at the moment. I saw the European Cup final in midweek, in which Barcelona beat Sampdoria at Wembley Stadium in England, and Ronald Koeman, who scored the only goal of that game, was by far the outstanding player, and he will certainly be featured in those European Championships. But this occasion is very much for the youth of these two countries. Remember, you have to be under 23 now to play in the Olympic qualifying sides. And the winners today, just while we've got a stoppage in play, the winners today will go through to Barcelona to play in Group B alongside Ghana, the African qualifiers, Mexico and Denmark. Denmark qualifying through Europe, Mexico obviously through the CONCACAF group. And the other teams already qualified are Egypt and Morocco from Africa, Qatar, the Korean Republic and Kuwait, the United States of America, Paraguay and Colombia, Spain as the hosts, Italy and Sweden. Eddie Thompson, he's the one standing hands on hips, a white shirt, and looks reasonably happy with life at the moment. Great character, Eddie Thompson, the Scot. He played with Martin Midlothians in Aberdeen. And I would think he's relatively pleased with the way things have gone. Zelic just attempting to steal the odd yard there, I would say. Well, it looks as though he might even be lining himself up alongside Lajovic. And Lajovic leaving it, in fact, for Zelic. And that's over the top. It's a neatly planned move, but the little nudge from Roost made sure that Murphy couldn't get on the end of it. Holland 0, Australia 0 then in this Olympic qualifying playoff match in Utrecht in Holland. On a very, very warm day. And Australia is certainly giving as good as they've received so far. But Talmud looking increasingly dangerous down this right flank. He didn't have much service in the first 15 minutes. He's had plenty in the last 5. Throwing is from Goddo, the man who plays for Dordrecht, not far away from here. Mind you, everywhere's not far from here in Holland. Doesn't seem to take more than an hour to get anywhere. The Australian team arrived out here on Tuesday, since when the strict training schedule has taken in a couple of hours every day, apart from this morning where they had a bit of a lie-in and then a meal which was specially prepared for them 4 hours before the kick-off. Very much a supervised meal, plenty of carbohydrates. So they're looking up to the occasion so far. Going from Vidmar, good space being played down this top line. A good run made by Adam Basic. Didn't like the decision, the Australians did. And so Paul Ocon will take this throw in, and Australia, showing their ambition in this game, have got just about everybody forward now. There are 3 players on the edge of the penalty box, and the rest of them are in there for this throw from Ocon. And there's no danger of a break because the Dutch are all back as well to defend against it. Here's the flick through, real danger, and still inside, and it's going to be cleared now. And it gives Boer the chance to break. And it's going to be 4 up against 2. That was the danger. It showed great ambition, but they could perish on the strength of it. It's cut back. Great chance here. Oh, over the top of the crossbar it goes from Arthur Numan. What a good chance. That's the best of the game so far. Goddo led the break out. There was always the danger that Australia was overstretching themselves. And when this ball was cut back here, a little nick back from Haybert. And what a good opportunity that was, and Numan should have taken it. The man who was transferred a couple of weeks ago from 20 Enschede to PSV Eindhoven should have scored. And that was rather naive defending on Australia's part, because they'd thrown everybody forward for that throw-in from Ocon and left themselves too stretched. Canters on down the right touchline. Ocon instead delivers a good ball, and Adam Basic just trying to nick it into the path. It's Gibson who'd come forward, and there are still plenty of Australian men forward in this attack. Refinas. Hasler. Vidmar outside of him. Hassler really relishing the challenge today, I'm sure. It's going to be a free kick. Passage, rather overdoing it, should we say. Challenge there on Talbot. So with half an hour gone, it's still 0-0. The Dutch certainly have had the best chance of the game. They didn't take it, so that's why that is the scoreline. Good footing, well played indeed, and so far Shaun Murphy's had an outstanding game. Murphy, as much as anybody, I'm sure, is wanting Australia to do well and qualify after that own goal set back last week in Sydney. Rust driven forward, and the little flick on won't reach Talbot. Underneath it this time is Refos. That's good play from Hassler. He got in there, moved quite quickly. There's a complaint about a push from Gore, but the referee saw that Hassler's jump was perfectly fair. Trying left for Ocon. Paul Ocon only played his first game last week for 4 months, so he might just be struggling a little bit for match fitness, especially as he's had the flu symptoms as well since he arrived in Holland. This is throw-in, and here's a shot from Hassler off the upright, so unlucky. He jumps in the air in anguish, Hassler. That really was a cracking effort, and just again why he's been brought in for this match. He's now played a good ball out wide right for Vidmar as well. Here is Tony Vidmar. Another shot from him, and a save made by Zelic. But really, how unlucky Gary Hassler was there. From Ocon's throw-in, Hassler had taken up a position just outside the penalty area, just for this sort of knockdown, and he really snapped it that first time. So unlucky for him. And the Dutch trainer will be coming on. You can see Hassler still cursing his luck. It really was a splendid effort, and what a psychological advantage that would have given Australia had the ball gone in instead of ricocheting from the upright. And the Australians bitterly disappointed, but having said that, of course, Holland did have a good opportunity themselves a few moments earlier, which was frittered away by Arthur Numan, but Hassler might well have been celebrating his first goal for his country then. Treatment being administered here by the Dutch physiotherapist, Numan Congren. Up and on his feet again is Eric Mayer from the MDV team. Mayer, very much the old style centre forward. But again, everybody's inside the Holland half, and it's going to be a corner for Australia with about 13 minutes to go to half-time. Certainly it's the Dutch who are possibly the more nervous at the moment. They're so expected to win in front of their own fans. And coach Ronald is bitterly disappointed if they don't, especially having come away with that 1-1 draw in Australia a week ago. One of them referenced a lot of Australian players inside the Dutch penalty area. And coming for it is Vidmar, and there's Vidmar's header, kept out no more than a couple of feet from the line. It was the little man as well who did his job over Mars, who was guarding that post. So Vidmar then, it was cleared from no more than a couple of feet. Just watch it as there, it's been swung in by Refernes. And Vidmar climbing high, just as he scored last week, thought he was going to be on the score sheet again. Still danger here, and the ball collected this time by Zelic. This is a good effort from Australia. They're playing well, they look full of confidence, and twice they've really rattled the Dutch in the last few minutes. And Vidmar, who plays for Adelaide City, bitterly disappointed that time not to have scored for the second successive week against the Dutch. He's back defending now against this throw-in. So it is Mayer. Free kick's going to be given. And ball against Mayer, who protests that he was rather pushed into it, I fancy, by Longo. The Dutch actually haven't qualified for the Olympic final since 1952, so that's how keen they are to progress. That's a good long kick from Thailand. A rather high kick by the captain, Numan. So affording Australia another free kick, 10 yards inside the Dutch half. The French referee hasn't had any great problems in this game so far. There were a couple of rather tempestuous tackles in the opening minutes, but since then it seems to have settled down. Zelic driving forward. Mike tries luck from here, and it's got all the way through as well, and spreading himself while Zoetebier makes the stop. Zelic certainly not afraid to have a crack. Infield is Overmars. Boer. Things just not happening for the Dutch at the moment. Apart from that, there was Longo. That was good play from him, and the Australians are covering every blade of this ground at the moment. They're getting up so quickly. Hassler. And again, it's one back. That's good covering back by Aaron Basic, and he's let Vidmar into a good position here for an Australian throw-in with 10 minutes to go in the first half. What a psychological blow it would be for Australia if they could just score that first goal and come close on a number of occasions already. And, well, that was allowed to go through by everybody, and here, challenging for it, was Shaun Murphy. He just couldn't turn on it inside the penalty area, but again, the Dutch defence absolutely sleepy. Rip Van Winkle time. They really were all asleep then, and Murphy could well have profited. He'd gone up for that throw-in, and the Dutch really looked all at 6s and 7s. And they've not defended well against these long throws. Here's another one now, coming bombing into their penalty area. And again, Murphy had gone for it. Blajovic can't get there. And Overmars this time will come. And he is so quick. And this is when the Dutch look dangerous. On this break. And again, the man has taken up a good position. And Overmars is just beaten to it this time. That was well done. Murphy again, who'd got back and that was some excellent defensive work on behalf of Australia. Murphy at both ends of the field. So Overmars is undoubtedly a danger man because of his speed. Here is Boer, who turns neatly. Tauman can't get there, and is belted away by Vidmar. Right into the crowd on that far side. By ruining the service he's getting, and with about 8 minutes left in this opening half in Utrecht, it's still Holland 0, Australia 0, and there are more nerves, it seems, on the Dutch side than there are on the Australian team. Casually they lay the ball forward for Numan. He's confident on the ball. And that little nick forward there from Heiberts just wasn't going to count. And if anything, I would say Australia are winning the battle in midfield. That's going to break nicely. Gibson knocking the ball back for Ocon. Just losing control for a split second, Ocon, and that his undoing in that attack. And it's Blajovic trying to get down that right touchline, and again he's sent sprawling by Overmars. A somewhat dangerous tactic. If he'd have lost the ball there would have been trouble. But Blajovic, Yugoslavian parentage, a goal scorer. The 7-0 win against Fiji, and again in the 5-0 victory over Papua New Guinea, drives this free kick up into the penalty area, and it was nearly knocked down and still here. Aaron Basic, as the ball is turned back by Numan to his goalkeeper, and then he's taken it back again. But again, whenever the ball is inside the Dutch penalty area, Australia look to have chances. Well, clearly coming out here and training at the Sports Centre in Arnhem since Tuesday has paid off for the Australians. They look supremely fit and confident, and the Dutch are already changing personnel. They've decided to bring off Max Heiberts, and the substitute who comes on is Ronald Boer, who played last week in Sydney and is a regular goal scorer, and it would seem that the Dutch coach wants a little bit more penetration up there. Gore loses out, Numan picking it up. Well, it's going to be interesting to see if Ronald de Boer, the player from Twente Enschede, can add that little bit of vigour and pep to the Dutch attack. There's not been much there so far. Refinesse. It's a rather hopeful take on of the fullback, Arepos. Once more the referee comes across, and this time it is going to be a booking for the very first challenge on the door. There we see the tackle, and the referee didn't like it, and so Shaun Murphy becomes the first Australian player booked on this day, joining Michel Craig in the referee's notebook. Well, Murphy perhaps got away with a couple of earlier tackles. Now he's paid the penalty. Free kick for Holland, lifted in there. Meyer couldn't get there, but Numan does. Oh, good blocking work. Good play by Paul Ocon to get across to deny Numan the shot. And really imperative now that Australia don't concede a goal in the closing 3 minutes of this half. As Craig will go across there to take this throw in. The Dutch with 4 men inside the Australian penalty area. They're keeping John Tyler hopping around on his line all right. Might break here. Wasn't very impressive, but Towman still has the opportunity to do something with it. Nice well from Gore. And he loses out. If this is kept in as it is, the Australians can break quickly. Refinesse has the speed. Vidmar's going up the left to supplement the attack. And it's squared. It's not the best ball, but Zelic is inside the area, and Zelic has scored for Australia! Oh, what a great goal! And Ned Zelic gives Australia the lead, and they are off the bench in delight. The break by Refinesse unhinged the Dutch defence, and Zelic held off the defender and slotted it past Zuterbier for a quite excellent goal. A cracking effort from the Australian captain, and Ned Zelic is so pleased. And Refinesse too takes much of the credit, because it was his speed on the break which really got the Dutch backpedaling. I thought that there wasn't going to be enough weight on his pass to Zelic, but Zelic, who's always looked so dangerous coming forward, took it on and gives Australia a priceless lead here 2 minutes before half-time. What a good goal it was as well. Back comes Gore now for the Dutch, and Gore is tripped back in the area. And more trouble here for Shaun Murphy, only 2 minutes after he'd been booked as well. It's he who brings down Gore, and a free kick now for Holland in a position of considerable danger to the Australians. Well, I said just a couple of minutes ago that it was to be hoped the Dutch didn't score just 2 minutes before half-time. That's what Australia did. But now Holland themselves will have an opportunity once Dean Gore has been put to right again. And it certainly was a rather rash challenge by Murphy, especially as he'd been cautioned just before that. So even more important that Eddie Thompson's boys don't give anything away now. And I reckon there's about 60 seconds left of this first half, plus any time the referee might add up to injuries like this one. But there's still a buzz in the stadium here in Utrecht about Zelic's goal. It's his first one in these Olympic qualifying matches, and no wonder he's said to be a target for the English champions Leeds United. So this is the danger now to the Australians. Weiler has taken his right-hand post for the moment. Gore is there, Numan is over the ball as well. might be rolled back to Boer, who's a frequent goal scorer. Drake is also there. Who's going to hit it? The wall has been formed. Holland have got one man in that wall themselves. And here comes the shot. Oh, and it whistles wide from Boer. Ronald Boer, who's been on the field no more than 5 or 6 minutes, having come on as a substitute, fairly rattling that shot wide at our Fyland's right upright. He hit it well. In fact, he couldn't have hit it better, could he? But it missed the mark. So the Australians could breathe again, and there was such jubilation on the Australian bench with that goal from Zelic. And we've moved already into time added on in this first half. And let me remind you, of course, that if it stays this way, then Australia will be taking the road to Barcelona in the summer. 1-1 last week in Sydney. They now lead 2-1 on aggregate, and that would be good enough. And it really is the dream of all these Australian players to be in Barcelona this summer, to take part in one of the world's great sporting festivals. And we have both physiotherapists on the field now. On the right of your picture, Pedro Ruz, a Chilean, I'd be surprised to know, who is the physio for the Australian side and has been for some time. Carnebeek is the injured player for the Dutch, receiving treatment from Wim van Tongeren. No doubt, at the back of your picture, Paul Ocon, only too happy to talk about that goal with the French referee, Monsieur Leduc. So both men repaired. Both physiotherapists can leave the field. And in a few more seconds, we should have the longer blast on the referee's whistle that tells us it's half-time in Utrecht. And that's it. Australia have established a 1-0 advantage in this first 45-minute period. But a long way to go, as they say in footballing parlance yet. The job only half done. But you did feel throughout that first half that the Australians did have the aces in the pack if they were to get in the Dutch penalty area. The Dutch defence has looked uncertain on a number of occasions, and Zelic exploited that on sureness. The Australians will be only too happy to waste a little bit of time now. So the Olyroos are doing well here in Holland. That's it, hopefully forward, and there's another tussle on now as the ball is just laid back by Carnebeek in time under Aaron Basic's challenge. Numan, the captain, a lot expected of him. Interesting that Overmars has moved into a central position. So Zelic able to knock that one out, and it is indeed half-time here in the Hallenveld Stadium in Utrecht, and a very, very good first half indeed for Australia. They had a couple of good chances. Aaron Basic's driving one shot over the bar, and the upright being struck by Gary Hasler. Holland themselves had 2 breaks, and Arthur Numan drove one shot over the top. But then, with 3 minutes to go to the break, Zelic stole forward into space, and on receiving the pass from Repenes, drove the ball beyond Soeterbier, and that is why we have a half-time scoreline, and a very encouraging one here in Utrecht of the Netherlands.
So just quickly before we throw back to John Helm, Raul, you're confident that we can win it from here?
Very confident. I was very confident from the beginning, and seeing the first half, I am more confident now than ever.
Well, I think if they keep up the same attitude and the same positive approach they can. The other factor too, Les, is the heat there. I think is going to work in Australia's favour.
The heat factor, yes. Yeah, that's an interesting one too.
What sort of changes?
Okay, the Dutch, I hear, have made one change. The number 15 is on, and looking at our team sheet, that's on 14, Philippe Cocu, the winger who played last week, has come on, and he was a dangerous customer too. So Raul, a bit more attacking weaponry coming into the side. We're almost ready to go back to John Helm. Let's go back now to John Helm in Utrecht for the second half.
It's a bit risk, no?
And welcome back to the Hallenveld Stadium here in Utrecht, to everybody in Australia who should be very happy indeed with the events of the first half. If by any chance you've just joined us, the news is good from Utrecht. At half-time, Australia lead Holland by 1-0 and by 2-1 on aggregate in this Olympic qualifying playoff match. The goal scored just 3 minutes before half-time by the captain, Zelic. And what a priceless goal that might prove to be. And in fact, Australia already back in possession at the start of this second half with Refernes, the man who set up Zelic's goal. He did really well on it. Now got a for Holland. He's good, impressive indeed going forward, and they've found a bit of space for Boer, and the ball is worked out here to Overmars. And again, Australia doing well and getting enough bodies around the ball to make the moves effective. No change in the second half. They've brought on a striker, an extra striker in Philippe Cocu. Here he is, in fact, he was just in your picture there, the number 14 anyway, Philippe Cocu, who plays for Vitesse Arnhem. And this is Talmant, and he's bowled over this time by Tony Vidmar. And Vidmar might just get a yellow card for this. He was spoken to once for a crunching tackle in the first half. And indeed, that is the third booking of the match, and Vidmar has been awarded it for that challenge on Talmant. So Tony Vidmar, who had a header cleared off the line in the first half, a half in which Gary Hasler also struck an upright. Indeed, Australia could have been 3-0 up had all the fortune gone their way. So they now defend against this free kick. Boer is the man taken. Lays it back. This man is quick. Oh, he's done well. It was a very good run indeed by Repos to get into that position. Now Boer over Mars, and a good safe catch made. A brave goalkeeper, John Phelan, and he's certainly taken a knock here in the challenge with Rost, who goes to placate the referee and to sympathetically shout something in the prostrate goalkeeper's ear. There was Rost challenging for it there, and he goes up, and it's an unintentional collision, I would say, really. And Phelan from Wollongong. Wollongong probably only too happy to just stay down for a moment or two. Also down is Dominic Longo, the Newcastle defender. And he seemed to take a bang on his right knee. But now certainly he is happily restored to health, and it looks as though Phelan is too. And a free kick has been awarded to the visiting country. The Dutch supporters here certainly stunned by this score. The local newspapers had been predicting an emphatic victory for the Dutch, but it's turned out to be anything but emphatic in any way for them. Even before they scored, Australia looked very capable of getting a goal. The Dutch coach that's Nul de Ruyter, did take a man off in the first half. Here's danger once more. Boer couldn't control it, and the breakout again led by Refernes. He's got past one, he's got past two. He's done really well today, Refernes. Often said he's just a very good, strong runner, and when it came to delivering the final ball there, he couldn't quite do it. Longo has got in nicely. A few anxious looks on this Dutch side at the moment, because things are certainly not going to plan for them. Here is their captain, Numan. Down the line, and Meyer being held off by Longo. And that will be an Australian throw-in. It's not in a very good position, it has to be said. And in fact, the throw-in awarded by the French referee to the Dutch after all that, and Cocu aims it inside the penalty area, where Longo got it well. Has to be put out of play in the end. And the verdict is that the ball went behind the dead ball line, and so the Dutch will have a corner. The man they've taken off, by the way, since the break has been Michel Craik, who was booked in the first half. That was part of the punishment, we're not sure, but they have a corner. Still 1-0, Australia in the lead. Defending against this, important for them to be positive here. The goalkeeper came a long way, Phelan. They somehow got away with that, and again it's Refernes who's gone across there. Numan who takes the ball off his toe end. The throw-in has been awarded to Australia. No matter how Numan tries to kid everybody that it's a Dutch throw, and it certainly wasn't. Basic trying to get the better of the tall central defender Karnebek. So Karnebek, who plays for FC 20 Enschede, did well. Now Numan has the ball in midfield. Laid forward for Overmars, who's quite bag full of tricks. Driven wide towards Talment, and in well, although he got a real bang there, was the left fullback Tony Vidmar. I don't think the referee saw Vidmar go down. Indeed, he's waved play on with Vidmar totally out of the action, and that really is not good refereeing, because Vidmar, I'm sure, isn't fooling anybody. What a good, spectacular catch again by Thailand. Got it well. Still Vidmar is down, and Thailand does the only thing open to him by bowling the ball out of play. So that, once again, this Chilean physiotherapist for Australia can come on and treat the player. Tony Vidmar, a very, very important member of this Australian squad, as his goal last week proved. It was cancelled out later, but you saw there the knock he took in the collision with Talment, and really the referee should have halted play. Talment certainly has the potential to be a tormentor to the Australian defence. He plays for Feyenoord, the team that got through to the European Cup Winners' Cup semi-final this season. Vidmar has helped to keep very tight control on Talment today so far. Looks of concern on the Dutch bench. The Australians are very, very happy with the way things are going. Coach Norgorote was the one closest to the camera. Here now, Overmars and played it in, and this will be easily enough for Thailand to deal with. Not a good strike by Zelic and a bit of trouble here, which the referee is going to get involved in, and another yellow card has been shown. And Hassler is also having an altercation with Numan. In fact, he's gone chasing him away. The referee wasn't sure. In fact, it was Paul Ocon who gets that yellow card. Numan certainly was involved. He's also spoken out of turn to the French referee. They don't like that sort of thing. And so 3 Australian players have now been cautioned, Ocon, Vidmar and Murphy. So they're going to have to be very, very careful for the remaining minutes of this game. 1 Dutchman has been booked, break. 3 Australians in the referee's book. And a Holland free kick now. That was unnecessary, it's got to be said. And Koku takes it and squares it. And it was taken too quickly, so players stop, don't panic. The referee hadn't signalled for that free kick to be taken, so when it was squared to Gore, it was wasted in effect. They'll now beware of that little manoeuvre. The referee insisting that this Australian 4-man wall retreats. And it's lobbed over this time. Very different type of free kick, and Talment can't keep it in play. And Australia come away unscathed. They've certainly turned up the heat in the second half, the Dutch. In fact, the Australians have hardly got into the Dutch half. But it would be folly to just sit back on a 1-goal advantage and hope that you come out on top in the end. They have to stick to the game plan, which worked so effectively in the first half. But so far, so good is the expression as Blajovic twice gets involved, turning the ball back, and Zelic will make sure it's rolled safely into Thailand's hands. Offside. Well, when you're looking at Dutch pedigree, their club sides have always done well in Europe. They've won the European Cup on 9 occasions. They're in here. Again, it's dangerous as the ball is knocked high into the air by Murphy. Hoisted again towards the edge of that Australian penalty area, and the free kick given this time to Australia. Just reverting to that word about the Dutch pedigree. They were, of course, World Cup runners-up in 1974 and 1978. And they won this European group in getting to this playoff with 4 wins and 2 draws, defeating Portugal, Malta and Finland on the way. And then in a quarter-final shootout with Sweden, they won the first leg 2-1 and then lost 1-0. So Sweden went through to Barcelona, and the Dutch are trying to emulate that today. Bojevic couldn't get in, and Overmars, who has posed problems down this left, has gone on and on and on, and the referee has pulled them back for a free kick to Australia. Well, Overmars looks suitably aggrieved, somewhat perplexed. It was nothing to do with him, it was an incident off the ball, which the French referee was keen to act upon, and a relieving free kick for Australia. Zelic forward, a header on by Basic. On now, danger. Oh, that's a very good winning tackle, but Numan was there, and that's excellent defending twice on the edge of his own penalty area. Very, very good work indeed, and Australia coming forward in numbers for the first time in this half. They've got to beware the offside, and Refanes uses that pace again. This time he was matched stride for stride, but there was some really good work by Paul Ocon on the edge of his own penalty area then a moment ago. Now it's up to Taumant. Just getting a foot in is Murphy. Twisting and turning on the ball and screwing it across the face of the Australian penalty area where it might just go out. Overmars can't keep it in play. That's to the discontent of the home crowd, who haven't quite been silenced by Australia's performance, but they've been surprised by it. Well, every underdog has its day, and certainly the Australians were seen as underdogs here in Holland, but they're leading at the moment through Ned Zelic's first half goal. Yes, indeed, they led in Sydney at half-time last week. They must beware not to make the same sort of mistake that they made on that occasion. Out of your picture, the Australians are warming up George Slifkas, so there could be a substitution made by Eddie Thompson, but let's not think about that. Let's think about the Dutch free kick here. 5 yards outside Australia's penalty area, conceded by Longo. And they're looking increasingly dangerous at these set pieces, and the Dutch have got 7 men waiting on that right side of the penalty area, 5 inside it and 2 hovering on the edge. And Numan just wasn't sure what to do and played it straight onto the head of Shaun Murphy. And the chip back in not effective, and the Dutch are still trying to find a way through this forest of Australian bodies around. There's a danger here. Oh, there might still be Overmars into the side now. The first chance really created in the second half. It was Dean Gorey who looped the ball across, and as the 2 men challenged for it there, the only came off worse, and that's no more than a foot wide from the left boot of this dangerous little man, Mark Overmars. Good firm header from Rust. It's broken handily for Australia, and Refanes just touches his man offside. Gary has got up the right touchline. Instead the ball is reversed, crossfield to Rust. And Mayer was there with the header. Knocked out in play out of the area by Murphy. It's again looking dangerous for Australia. They've got so many men back as Taumant crosses this one in. It's taken away this time by Longo, but not very far, and the pressure increases. Overmars, you feel he's the danger man. Tricky ball in again, and it's going to be easy enough. And John Fallon won't manage handling those all afternoon. still extremely hot here in Utrecht, and the players have kept up a remarkably good pace considering. And the pressure really has increased in this second half. That was a dangerous bowl out, and Referes might yet get to it. He has, in fact, and then tries to tip it on the outside of Refos. Now Rust, man who should feel very much at home. He plays his club football here for Utrecht. Gojovic in sharply and too firmly on the back of Meyer. Holland's free kick. 10 yards inside the Australian half. And again, Numan, who takes all these set pieces as the captain, floats it to the edge of the area. And again, it was Longo who got there. Numan in open play this time. Again, it's a swift cross in, and once more Longo is the man to get it out. Again, it's gone to Numan. They just cannot get out of their own half at the moment, Australia. Floated towards the back post, and Taument surely pushed his man over. He did. Vidmar bundled over, but Taument expresses his disgust at the decision, which will not sway the referee. And Australia are going to make a change of their own, and Gary Hassler will come off, and George Slivkas will replace him. So the first change in this second half made by Eddie Thompson. Hassler, who was visibly upset in the first half when a bullet-like shot from 20 yards thumped away off the inside of an upright. That could have been his moment of glory. He takes his place on the bench. And George Slivkas, the midfield player from Heidelberg, comes on to win his 26th cap for Australia. I think the obvious move there is to just stiffen up and do a bit of man marking as Referes might get through. Referes is still here, and he's trying to tee up Blagojevic, and the keeper saving with his foot rather luckily, and he's now trying to chip him. Well, it could have been 2-0. Blagojevic in there with a very good opening. It was on the overlap, and again it was Aaron Basic who'd done well. He's had a good game, Aaron Basic. Fought very selflessly for every ball, and Australia again doing extremely well. Referes, men ahead of him. Support also on his left from Slivkas, who gets his first touch of the ball now. Ocon. Slivkas again. I think what has happened in the second half since Koku came on, and with the late arrival in the first half of Boer, they've really tightened their grip in midfield, Holland, and Slivkas has been brought on to do something about that. Hassler had a very good first 30 minutes. Out wide now is Boer. Still Boer goes on. He's got a good shot on it if he can utilise it. Instead he finds Overmars. Considerable danger here, and it's cleared, and it's against the foot of Longo. The ball was knocked out by Murphy, and Longo took it out even further. But again, we'll have this tidal wave of orange shirts coming forward, led by Numan, who really is acting as the playmaker. Oh, that's a delightful back heel from him. There's considerable danger now. Several men inside that penalty area, but it has to come back all the way to Refos. One moment I thought there was going to be a shot coming in. There wasn't. There might be again here. Numan, danger! It's an equalising goal, and it's Ronald Boer. It had been threatening, and Boer's headed equaliser. Refos' cross. And you have to say that the tempo had been picked up by the Dutch. And in this second half, they've looked like scoring all the time. Numan's first header and Boer's second one were too good for Feiland in the Australian goal. Holland have their equaliser. And what a finish is set up now. So just as in Sydney a week ago, Holland have come back with an equaliser and Boer's 7th goal in 14 appearances for his country. Feiland might have just injured his right shoulder, but it's even Steven again now. The Netherlands won, Australia won, and if it stays this way, we have 30 minutes of extra time, and then if it's still 1-1 at the end of that, we will have a penalty shootout, and what a dramatic finale that would be to decide who goes to Barcelona. But suddenly the pressure is back on Australia, and the crowd here in Utrecht has certainly been lifted by that goal. And how ironic that moments earlier Blagojevich could have made it 2-1, or rather 2-0 at that stage, of course. I wonder what difference that will make in the final outcome. Slipkas might not keep this in, but they've certainly been lifted, and it means a second Australian player is lining up, and it's likely to be David Seal. Good ball knocked forward for Mayer. Confronted immediately by Murphy. Oh, and that's good skill from Mayer. And he's got the ball in too. Calmly done by Longo. Oh, and rather too long, he hesitated on it here, and there must be a great chance of a second for the Dutch. A fine stop, and then the ball is put out of play by Vidmar. An excellent save by John Fyland there. They created the space inside the penalty area, and Koku had the chance to make it 2-1 within 3 minutes of the equaliser. Koku on the left foot, good stop indeed by Fyland, and Tauman following in didn't capitalise. Vidmar put it out for the corner. Koku from Vitesse Arnhem could well have given Holland the lead, and then it would have been a tough assignment for Australia. So this game is building to a tremendous crescendo now. 1-1 is the scoreline. It's 2-2 on aggregate. And we're reaching the midpoint of the second half. It's cleared this time. Gibson's clearance didn't go as far as he would have liked, however, and back again they come with Koku. Numan with the throw-in, and the captain has set an inspiring example in this second half, and he's involved again as Koku leaves it this time for De Boer, the goal scorer. De Boer once more. And he's played an excellent ball in, and this could be 2-1 on, and a fine save. What a good stop from Overmars this one is, and Fyland is really earning his corn at the moment. Superb ball floated through by De Boer, and he didn't beat it, of course, didn't Overmars, but nonetheless Fyland was there, and Linus Michels, the Dutch senior team manager, was impressed, I've no doubt, by the build-up there. As it happens, the whistle had gone, it would not have counted even if the ball had gone in the net. So Australian hearts beat again. The ball is laid back this time, and Aaron Basic has gone for it. But it bounced kindly, and Refos is able to clear it up his line. Overmars has taken on Vidmar and has got goal side of him as well. Oh, what a wonderful tackle by Vidmar, it really was. That was superbly done by Vidmar. Still the danger is here. Fyland in for it, and that's going to be a foul. And it might even be a booking. The referee is running up here, and it is going to be a yellow card, and I honestly do not agree with that decision. I thought that Mayer had every right to challenge for the ball. Well, he's obviously pushed the goalkeeper. There was never any question that the free kick would be given against him. But Mayer becomes the second Dutch player booked, along with Craig. And 3 Australians have found the referee's notebook: Tony Vidmar, Shaun Murphy and Paul Ocon. It's still 1-1. And that is the most important statistic of all here. As Longo knocks it down, and Blagojevich can't make ground. Well, that's not a penetrating pass. Although it's got Murphy into a tight corner. Shaun Murphy really has atoned for the mistake he made last week in conceding that own goal, with an excellent performance in the centre of defence in front of Ned Zelic. Noticeable that Zelic, the goal scorer, who made 2 or 3 excellent runs in the first half, getting to the edge of the Dutch penalty area, hasn't really ventured forward once in this half. Australia really have been pushed back with new Dutch domination in midfield since De Boer came on in particular. And now it's hit long. Tauman wrestling for it, edge of the area, still here, Tauman, and it wriggled away from him at the last moment. But credit to the Australian defence who got around him in numbers. And the ball toe poked away from Taument and back to goalkeeper Pfeiler. But they are under siege at the moment. And you do feel that Eddie Thompson has somehow got to get his men in a more attacking frame of mind at the moment. And, well, they'll have a chance now because that's a free kick conceded by Rust, the home club player here in Utrecht. And again, it was a needless free kick to concede as Australia want to make a second substitution. John Gibson will be the player replaced. And, in fact, Carl Veert is the replacement. So Carl Veert from Adelaide City gets his chance, and that is a bold move by Eddie Thompson, putting on another striker, a man who's got 40 goals for his state and for Australia. He's on in place of Gibson as this free kick is floated, and it's a good-looking one as well, and it was just taken away from the head of the incoming Vidmar, who's now cut it back nicely. That's a good ball to Murphy. Murphy looking to create a bit of space, edge of the Dutch penalty area, and then losing possession. But again, Australia have many men forward here. The ball has got to come right to Veert for his first touch. Maybe it was a little early for him. Not quite got the feel of the game yet, but he's in here, and he's onside, and he's inside the penalty area. And a good tackle back. Veert certainly hadn't got the pace of the game then. Otherwise, he might have been a little bit more menacing. But Blagojevic has done tremendously well and goes on. And this is danger for Holland. And he's brought down, is he? No, a corner kick is given. Blagojevic complaining about Overmar's challenge. There was head shaking on the Australian bench as well. Eddie Thompson off his feet. Well, it was a sliding tackle, and Blagojevic going over the leg of the outstretched leg of the defender has won a corner kick nonetheless. And Australian tactics have changed. They're coming forward again now from this corner. The goalkeeper's coming for it and makes a good catch. Australia drawing here 1 in Utrecht, and if it stays this way we'll have 30 more minutes and maybe a penalty shootout. Taument is with the ball. It's just Taument and not Torment, by the way, although he's tormenting at the moment, and Mayer lays it back, and there's danger there again, and the ball is knocked away once more by that central defender Shaun Murphy. Well played by Aaron Basic. Now spread into the middle, and for the first time in this half, Zelic does get forward. All these marauding runs, and he'll continue. He's got Veert wide right. Here he is. One man ahead of Veert. Has to take on Cocu. Gets past them both, Veert, and goes for the near post. And still the danger is here. It's swung out wide now, but too far and out of play. But again, that Dutch defence totally stretched. Aaron Basic unable to get a final effort on the mark, but Veert was in such a good position there and chose to drove it at the near upright. The keeper made the stop. Well, nervous moments again for the Dutch. I was beginning to think that Australia were wilting a little bit under the constant barrage of attacks that Holland have mounted in this second half. And there's a ball that nearly caught Australia napping. And Longo got across in the end. One or two players just beginning to look a little jaded, a little tired in the heat. Numan. Oh, and he's created space for the cross. Out from Longo. Over Mars. Once more the danger here as Cocu swings that one over. And Pfeiler can't really get a clean punch on it, but Vidmar takes it away from Taument. Taument's pace will win it back for Holland. And he wins the applause of the adoring fans here in Utrecht, who very much like Taument. Mayer is leading the line well at the moment and switching from flank to flank. Really pulling them this way and that. But it is still 1-1. Quarter of an hour to go maybe, and this time the ball was aimed for Taument and it was never going to reach its destination. And again he strides forward imperiously and wins the free kick. Zelic just beginning now to get moving again with these searching runs. Really probing player he is. Ocon has found Viet, sticking out to this right touchline. Slivkas creating space for Viet to get into, and he's there, and still Viet. He will not let the ball go from his feet. And the Dutch are really struggling at the moment against Viet, who's come on and had a couple of impressive runs. They win it back. Ocon, the timing of the ball here could be dangerous, and he might, Aaron Basic just allowing it to roll off his ankles, and it just gave the goalkeeper time to come out and make the save. And then a misunderstanding utterly between Taument and Gore meant that the ball went out of play. Holland 1, Australia 1, with a place in Barcelona in the Olympic Games at stake. The Australian record under Eddie Thompson is so good. 16 games played, of which they've won 8, drawn 4, and lost a mere 3. And it would mean so much to the Scot to lead his side to the Olympic Games in Spain. Australia winning the Oceania group with 6 wins in 6 matches against Papua New Guinea, New Zealand and Fiji, scoring 23 goals against 1 in the process. And they've given a good account of themselves no matter what the final outcome here in Utrecht. 1-0 up until about 10 or 15 minutes ago, when that equaliser came in from the head of Ronald de Boer. And a free kick now for Holland, already been taken. Numan, you always feel there is danger when he's on the ball, and he's gone up to get on the end of this attack maybe, but now he'll have to funnel back as Australia break. Poorly delivered pass, however, giving Viet no chance, and then Viet himself commits the sin with the tackle from behind, and it's a Holland free kick. Holland's free kick taken by Karnebeek, and round about the penalty spot it's nodded away, as he's done so often today, by Murphy. Nicely turned back. Refanes did well again. Aaron Basic, and Viet has made some space up the right touchline. If the ball had been delivered a little bit earlier, as it is, it's Zelic on it. And, looking for the ball between the centre back and the left back position. It was well covered. Numan obviously relishes the role of captain. Not missed a game for the Dutch in all the qualifying matches. Karnebeek. Oh, it's nicely looped over the top of Viet. And Numan can't get in ahead of Zelic. But at the moment the game is heading for extra time, unless somebody can do something rather dramatic in these closing moments. And Viet had made a run up the right touchline. There's a handball. The handball is by Rust. And Australia's free kick. Now, there was one occasion in the first half where Australia had a free kick and threw everybody up, and they almost paid the penalty. But this time it's lobbed forward for Viet, and he might just get there. Zoetbier coming from his line, making the stop. It was an intelligent free kick nonetheless, and now Taument. And Taument has got past the defender as well, who's struggling to get back now. Taument here can lay it on, and once more Australia mass the ranks, but Numan has got in, and Holland have 4 men inside the Australian penalty area. It's lobbed far side, turned back, and de Boer's cross safely and comfortably held by Phelan. 1-1 it is, all to play for. Well, the players have trained in the heat during the week. It's been extremely warm in Holland over the last few days, and that early arrival and preparation has paid off for them. Just signs of one or two players beginning to feel the strain. But it's no exaggeration to say that this game still hangs very much in the balance. Both sides have had their chances. It's a question, I think, of who's going to make a mistake, as Zelic pumps it up there. And unable to get on the end of it, Murphy, a goal kick. Crowd of about 10,000 here, basking in the sunshine of Utrecht. And the Australians very much hoping to go home, knowing that they have a ticket on the plane to Barcelona in July. Well, they will be able to test themselves against some of the best in the world. Here is Gore. Taumant, who's switching flanks at the moment, disturbingly for Australia. And he's gone up the right-hand touchline this time, taken on by Vidmar. And Vidmar sticks with him, and yes, I thought that was right. The referee got it right, the crowd didn't like it. But there was no doubt that Taumant was holding off his man. He did more as the aggressor than Vidmar there, and that was a correct decision. Vidmar couldn't get near the ball for him. Ocon so graceful on the ball. Decides it's got to go back to John Phelan. And the goalkeeper from Wollongong City, winning his 13th cap today, will clear. In the air, won by Karnebeek. But Raffines, possession. Zelic couldn't quite get there, so De Boer, the Dutch goal scorer, has played it down the line, and there's more danger here as Numan takes it up. There's only one man in the middle. That man is Meyer. He's here for the header. Meyer! And it's into the side netting. Well, you can see some of the Dutch fans were off their seats then. They thought Meyer had found the net. Well, he found the net, but the wrong side of it. Good ball floated in by Numan, and the keeper had the line covered. So credit Phelan again. He would have made the save had the ball been closer to him. It went outside, and it's still 1-1. So there's still a lot of drama to be fought out here in Utrecht. The remaining minutes of this game, plus extra time should it be required. Blagojevic with a little back heel, which finds Slivkas. Good on the ball, Slivkas found Veert. Slivkas has gone on. But, the covering defender that time, Karnebeek, has rolled the ball, and then it's intercepted. That was a poor ball. And Veert has got the chance here to set something up for Australia. He's got to cut it across, and the goalkeeper will smother it. Zoetebier coming from the line, doing well as well with the bowl out, which has found Numan. And it's Australia's turn to backpedal. And Numan feeds it through for Taumant. Danger. And once more, the defender in the way was Murphy, who's not put a foot wrong. De Boer, tricking, teasing, edge of the area, finding Numan. Dangerous as he brings the ball down. And once more, it's Zelic who brings it away. And oh, that's superb work from Zelic, who's already covered 30, 40 yards. Just requires the right ball, and Veert might be in here for Australia inside the Dutch penalty area. It requires a good cross. It's deep, perhaps a touch too deep, but they've still got three men up here. Here's the header, Aaron Basic. Oh, wide of the left-hand upright, and that was an opportunity. It looks to me as though if Veert was just a little bit more positive, he could be the man to pose problems, because he is getting space on the right. Aaron Basic's header was wide. And both defences are looking extremely tense and stretched. Down for the moment is Dean Gore from Dordrecht. I think that might be a touch of cramp. It's not the biggest pitch you've ever seen, this one, but it seems to be taking its toll of some of the players. Ronald Reuter, the Dutch coach, so keen for Holland to qualify for the first time in 40 years for the Olympic Games football finals. They were the bronze medalists in the first three Olympic Games, and that's going back a long way, 1908, 1912 and 1920, and I have to tell you, I wasn't around in those days, nor were any of these lads. And the instructions are being delivered to Numan, the captain. who is the orchestrator of everything that has been good about the Dutch today. Well, Australia could have sealed their passage then. It was a good opening, but it came to naught in the end, and it's still 1-1. Closing stages of this exciting match. It has to be said, in Utrecht, it could have gone either way in this second half. Chances to both sides. Only one has been taken by De Boer for Holland. Here's a dangerous ball, and it's Longo knocks it out this time. It's going to come back though. There was nobody up there to collect it and serve Australia in an attacking guise. Mayer's up there. Koku is in. Koku, and the ball came away off the back of Zelic, but still it is here. Oh, and is this a trick? No, the referee waves play on. Theatrically, Overmars went down. And the referee said there was nothing intentional and therefore awarded the goal kick. The crowd didn't like it, and that means that we've had a penalty appeal rejected at both ends of the field. Slifkas came out strongly. There looks to be a lot of space on this pitch, and he's played a delightful ball to Aaron Basic. Aaron Basic can win it here for Australia. Still here, and eventually a free kick awarded against the lanky striker. It was a good ball played in by Slifkas. Exactly what Eddie Thompson required of him when he sent him on. Slifkas for Hasler and Viet for Gibson, the two changes made by the Australian coach in the second half. That's going to be a free kick to Australia. The foul on Vidmar. The Dutch made one change early in the first half. Haibets went off for De Boer to come on. Craig has since been replaced by Koku. So 1-1, and nail-biting moments at the closing stages for both sides, both coaches, both sets of supporters who don't want to lose it at this late stage. 1-1 a week ago in Sydney, after Australia had taken the advantage in the first half with a goal from Tony Vidmar, and then an own goal from Shaun Murphy cancelling that out. And it's 1-1 again here at the moment. And once more after Australia had taken the lead as well, this time through Ned Zelic, only for Ronald de Boer to get an equaliser. So the pattern has been the same in both games. But who is going to win? Well, we shall find out in the ensuing minutes as a free kick is awarded against Carl Viet. Just backing into the defender. And you do have the feeling that one mistake in the heat is going to settle it here. Overmars unable to get that. If he'd been about 4 inches taller, he might have done. He's only a small man, and rather unsportingly the ball is thrown away from Vidmar. He won't mind. Complaining to the referee and to the linesman, in fact, about... Well, I think they were accusing him of time wasting. The ball was thrown past him. Well, I hope you're enjoying SBS coverage back in Australia, because it's been some match, this one, with cut and thrust from both sides, and it's now the Dutch who come forward and dramatically again Gore trying to impress the referee by hurling himself over the outstretched leg of a defender. But Australia are very much in this match, I can tell you, because they've had their chances in the last few minutes themselves. They only need to take one. That might be good enough. It's long, and Refernes will chase it. He's not stopped running today. He's done extremely well as the lone ranger up front for the Australians. Steve Refernes, who plays for Sydney Olympic, the one club that is represented by 2 players in the starting lineup today, Ned Zelic being the other one. Numan, you always feel he's the danger, but that's a free kick against Numan. The referee's not missed a lot today. To be fair to him, he's evened it out in terms of penalty appeals. He let it go early on when there were a few physical challenges flying around. Since then he's booked 5 players, 3 from Australia and 2 from Holland. But those Australians who were treading the line warily a few moments ago seem to have come through pretty well. Noticeably Shaun Murphy, who got his booking and then had another rather rash challenge a couple of minutes later. He got away with that, and he's still out there battling hard. Boer does well to keep that ball in play. Once more it's Murphy there as the last line of defence. The covering defender Karnabek winning the tussle on that occasion with Adam Basic. Time just evaporating for both sides if they're to seek a clear-cut victory in this match. If it stays at 1-1, we have 30 minutes more. Talmant, and he's won a free kick now, and I think the complaint by Murphy is that he was tugging at his shirt, and I must say I've got some sympathy with Murphy there. Talmant was certainly backing into him. Nonetheless, the French referee has awarded this free kick, and it's in a position of considerable danger to Australia. It's out by the left touchline, but Numan has already played some good crosses in. Holland have 5 men inside the Australian penalty area, looking to get on the end of Numan's cross here. And it's just beyond the goalkeeper split, and De Boer's in there once more. The final header carried wide, and De Boer holds his head in his hands. He it was who got Holland level in this match, and he it is again here who's got on the end of the palm out from Thailand, but just can't make it pay. Credit to Vidmar to put him off. (1-1) the scoreline, and that is indeed the final scoreline here, and we will have 30 minutes of extra time. So that Australian goal in the first half, scored by captain Zelic, has been cancelled out, with the Dutch equaliser coming from the head of their substitute Ronald de Boer, and that means that the two sides finish as they did a week ago at 1-1, 2-2 on aggregate, and we shall shortly be going ahead with 30 minutes of extra time, and if it's still 1-1 at the end of that, then it's a penalty shootout. Meanwhile, I'll hand you back to Les Murray in the studio, reassuring you.
The left side, John, they're really looking very, very tired there. I think the fresh legs of Boer could do the damage, yes.
Well, it's really a mental game now, isn't it?
I would say so, because now, as we said, the legs start to give in a little bit, and if you're strong mentally, then you will succeed.
When you say errors from the defenders, from let's say the Dutch defenders, which Australia would have to exploit?
I will say so, because I think both teams will start to throw themselves forward. Now is the last, again, before it was 90 minutes, now it's the last 30 minutes. They have to start to come forward, and this is when I think some gaps will start to appear.
Okay, well, it looks like they're almost ready to kick off for the extra period. Twice 15 minutes, and then if it's still level or it's still 1-1, it's the penalties. Let's go back to John Helm.
Thank you, Les, and hope you've enjoyed the chat there in the studio. We're certainly enjoying the action here in Utrecht, and as we've said before, it's all to play for. Barcelona the prize in another 30 minutes, plus a little bit of extra drama if it does go to a penalty shootout. The two skippers are back out there tossing for choice of ends, and Australia will start the second half as they started the first half, attacking the goal to our left. I hope that's a good omen, with Zelic winning the toss for choice of ends in this first period of extra time. And for any of you viewers who don't know the rules in soccer, we have two 15-minute periods of extra time, and if the scores are still deadlocked at 1-1 and 2-2 on aggregate at the end of that half an hour, we then go into a penalty shootout situation in which 5 players from either side are nominated. Should all 5 of each side's players convert those kicks, we just go on and on, one at a time after that, until the deadlock is broken and somebody is on their flight to Barcelona. It's 1-1 here then in Utrecht as we start this first minute of this first period of extra time. And no further changes in personnel made. 2 substitutes on for both sides so far. The player on the ball there was Talmant. He reverses it down the line for Grefos. Gore, who's been impressive in the centre of midfield, and that's not one of his more impressive passes. What that little break does between the end of the 90 minutes and the start of extra time is to enable the two coaches to reassemble the ranks, really, talk about strategy and how they are going to break down the opposition. But one considerable factor, undoubtedly, is the heat and the tiredness, because some players are noticeably a little slower than they were at the beginning of this match. That can't be said of Paul Ocon here, who's come through this match very well, considering it's only his second game in 4 months. After knee trouble and flu as well, he's done exceptionally well today. Here is Blagojevic trying to get on the outside and might win the corner. He does. So first blood almost to Australia in this first period of extra time. They've won a corner kick. And among those going up for it will be Shaun Murray. Carl Weert's in your picture as well. Shaun Murphy, I should have said. Just changing his birthright for a moment. And this corner will be swung in towards the goalkeeper, who will come for it, and he's caught everything so far, and he catches this one as well. Zoetebier, 22 years old, number 2 at the start of the season, but has been extremely impressive, and unable for coach Noel de Ruyter, impossible in fact for him to leave him out now. Well, that's Slifgas winning it, and not only did he win it, he then induced a free kick out of Gore. And there is still nothing in this match. It's as close as Eddie Thompson said it would be. So Australia's free kick, the ball placed by Tony Vidmar from Adelaide City, the goal scorer last week. He too's had a bout of flu since he arrived here in Holland. That's onto the head of Slifgas. There's danger here once more, but Adam Basic unable to get goal side of the defender covering him. And the keeper, Zoetebier, will clear. And he'll clear long as well. He's got a good kick on him. It's nodded away by Longo. Coming forward impressively this time is the Utrecht man, Rob Roost. And he's gone on and on and on, and he's played a good ball in, and Talmont was coming for it. Vidmar knocked it out. Overmars! Oh, and a super stop by Feiland. A really good effort, that one, from little Mark Overmars, taking it on the chest and hitting it with that right foot. It was curling and dropping inside the near upright, just under the crossbar, and Feiland really did well. Splendid stop by the goalkeeper from Wollongong City. I know his coach, David Ratcliffe, who's from my area of Yorkshire in England, from Bradford, will have been thrilled by that. And congratulations to David, I understand them being named Coach of the Year. But John Feiland there did superbly well. Got to do well again now as the corner comes across. It was Weert who got up to head out. Still danger. Numan, he'll thump the next one in off the crossbar. And the Australian goal leading a charmed life for the moment. Gore picks it up, and that's encouraged the Dutch crowd as well. The ball stays in play for De Boer, and he skipped wide of Blagojevic, and Numan allowed it just to trickle away from him. It was a crucial deflection that, otherwise he was in space. Well, credit John Feiland first of all for making the excellent save from Overmars, but then he had an element of fortune on his side when Numan thundered this one, and it beat the goalkeeper that time. Hit the top of the crossbar, I would say. It just adds to the excitement, and I hope you're enjoying this drama we've got in Holland at the moment. In the first period of extra time, it's still Holland 1, Australia 1. It's Zelic for Australia and Ronald de Boer for Holland. And an Australian free kick this time. And it really is the sort of game that's just going from one end to the other, and chances are being created at both ends, partly due to the tiredness that is creeping in. It's been a long day in sultry conditions. Can Australia benefit from this free kick? Blagojevic in, and goalkeeper Zoetebier again making an excellent catch, and he's lobbed it out here for the run down the wing by Reifos. Reifos continues, and the ball is with De Boer, who turns, finds Overmars, edge of the area. That's Ocon getting back and doing really well, and he wanted a free kick. The referee didn't give it, so still trouble. Meyer, who's in a deep position for once. Australia come away with it. They're still strong. Weert is a substitute, so he should have perhaps a little bit more energy than some of the others, and he's taking everybody on. He's offside. marginally, but Adam Basic was offside, and he's going to be booked because he continued playing after the referee's whistle. And I don't think that Adam Basic can really complain, because I think everybody else in the stadium had heard the whistle. I'm sure he had too, but he still wanted to crack that shot in at Zelic. And that's 4 Aussies who are now cautioned in the game. 4 from Australia and 2 from Holland. It's Holland's free kick. Blagojevich nodding the ball out of play. Blagojevich from the Marconi club, winning his 11th cap today. And he's generally done well against Overmars, who has been perhaps the liveliest of the Dutch attackers. Oh, and that was weakly played, and Weert has a chance here to make good ground again, and he's played an excellent ball in, and this could be a critical moment, and Weert comes on and hits the shot, and it's deflected wide. Well, I thought for a corner. It must be a corner. That certainly came off a Dutch player. That had to be a corner. Well, that's an extraordinary decision by the French referee. That was certainly a corner without question. The referee gave the goal kick, and now he's going to give a free kick again to Holland. Oh, and it was quickly taken, and this is dangerous. Numan, who pops up on that left side all the time, creating space and chances, has just overrun it. But I'm still perplexed as to why the French referee gave a goal kick at the other end. It had to be a corner kick. And Weert's pace has improved. He's suddenly discovered just how quick this game is. When he first came on, he didn't quite seem to have the sharpness required. But he's now running at the Dutch defence and causing a few problems. Here he is now, breasting the ball down for Slivkas. It's gone out of play. Should be on the right boot of Blagojevich. Holland's throw in. Holland 1, Australia 1. Holland, whose top players will soon be heading for Sweden and the European Championship finals. 1 or 2 of these players are likely to make that squad as well. Craig, the man who was taken off at half-time, and Vink, one of their substitutes today, are possibles for it, as the ball threads its way through to Adam Basic. And that's hit rather hopefully this time by Slivkas. Got it. Good ball. This has found Numan for once, coming down the right touchline. He'll try and make inroads here. Oh, well played, Ocon. Good stretching tackle to win the ball from Paul Ocon, who plays in Belgium, of course, just across the border from here for FC Bruges. That looked like a foul on the back of Slivkas, but the referee says no. And Correa has gone on, but Slivkas tussling well for it. Again, Murphy got in. But the ball has broken for De Boer, and now Taument, and this might be a dangerous moment for the Australians, but the ball cut across the face of the penalty area. There was no way Freiland could have got to it, but Holland just didn't have the players up that were needed. And it's Australia's turn to break. It really is going from one end to the other, and Zelic does extremely well. He's got to pick himself up and try and get into the penalty area now. That ball's delivered too long. Even so, Zelic will have to either put it down the line or something, and he has done, to De Boer. De Boer, former Ajax player who was said to be injury prone, but he's competing here, and Longo will have a free kick out of this tackle from Taument. And we're coming towards the end of the first period of extra time with the scoreline unchanged. Holland 1, Australia 1. They look tired, don't they? Dominic Longo from Newcastle has fought hard in the centre of the Australian defence alongside Shaun Murphy. And Ned Zelic, as always, with those probing runs upfield, has caused many, many problems for the Dutch, and he now takes this free kick. With the Dutch having left only one player up front, and Longo is left back to mark him, but Zelic has played it up to the edge of the area. Falls for Slivkas, who's held off Taument. Vidmar, who had a header kicked off the line in the first half when Hasler also shot against an upright, and that was unfortunate. Aaron Basic. Refernes. This fullback, Edel Refos, has stuck with him all the time. And when the cross is in, it's met by the tall defender, Karnebeek, and Taument plays a good ball to De Boer. He tries to elude his marker. But again, Australia snapping in the tackle, winning the ball back. Out far side is Viet. That's a free kick. The linesman on the far side of the field, signifying the challenge was an illegal one, and Viet gets the free kick for Australia. A promising position for them. And again, they all come up. Only Zelic this time stays back in the centre circle. And Australia have 1, 2, 3, 4 men inside the penalty area, and Murphy is coming up to make it a quintet. As it's long, and Murphy and Viet are both there for it. As Zoetebier yet again holds on. He's missed absolutely nothing, Zoetebier. And he looks a goalkeeper of considerable promise. The Dutch have had Hans van Breukelen in goal for many, many years now. But they'll need a replacement, and Holland will have a free kick. That was the challenge on Cocu. And in very short time, we'll have the second period of extra time. So there still has to be a sting in the tail one way or another here, as Blagojevic is too strong for De Boer this time. And gets a throw in. Well, unlike the break at the end of full time and before the start of extra time, the players are officially meant to turn straight round, although at the European Cup final they did take liberties on Wednesday evening in London when the players of Barcelona and Sampdoria managed to eke out another 3 or 4 minutes. And the coaches came on and everything. That shouldn't happen really in extra time. We'll see if it does here. Aaron Basic has left it this time. Ocon. But the Dutch winning it back with Overmars. There he is now. And Overmars will make progress down the left. He's still elusive. He's an eel of a winger. Now, which way's Longo going to go? Well, eventually he turns the ball forward for Zelic. He thinks better of making a long run at the moment. Instead, just waits a ball out to that touchline to Viet, who hesitated momentarily. And that cost him. And Overmars looks for Taument in the centre circle. Now Gore driving forward. He's got support on his right from Numan. Interesting that Numan has occupied a position on the right rather than the left in this extra time period. Meyers trying to team up. Numan might be in here. Quality. A superb goal because he's fashioned it all himself here, and Arthur Numan rolled the ball forward, took the return from Meyer. He still had a lot to do there. He eluded the challenge of Murphy and clipped it wide of Phelan into the net for a goal of pureness. That was a superb strike. And Arthur Numan really does deserve the credit he takes for that. It reminded me in some ways of a goal that Archie Gemmill once scored for Scotland against Holland in the World Cup. But it's now the Netherlands 2, Australia 1. And I wonder if that is going to be the critical and winning goal. And Numan, amid the celebrations, it still has to take advice from the touchline from his coach. But really, you have to say that that was an excellent goal created by one of the outstanding players of this match. And Australia have given their all in this game, but if they do surrender to that goal, they'll know they've gone out to a touch of quality. Arthur Numan, really the centre of attention with that. And Holland now in the driving seat at 2-1. But there are still 15 minutes to go. Let me just remind you of that. No matter what else happens in this first period of extra time, even if it's 2-1, there will still be 15 minutes for Australia to get back into it. And Zelic, their captain, will try and do just that. And he hits a good ball, which is beyond the full-back, and Viet is in here, cuts it across the penalty area. Gore delays, Slifkas is there. Here's a chance for Refernes. Still he's there, and the ball eventually knocked to safety. And Murphy hooks it away. Might have been better advice to play it back to his own goalkeeper that time. Boer is here. There's a danger of Australia caving in now. Towment has a chance to make it 3-1 and it's whacked wide. He's wanting to curl it really, he didn't get any curl on the foot at all. But that goal by Arthur Numan, what it's done is mean that Australia now has to come out and throw themselves into attack. We've reached the midway point of extra time. It's 2-1 to Holland, with Numan's goal now separating the sides. And indeed, just what I thought might happen, Numan might just get booked here because the players are wanting to take further advice from the touchline. The coaches are wanting to consult them, and the referee quite rightly has come across to say there is no more of that. We have to get on with the game. They were trying to take advantage, and the referee, to his credit, has not allowed them to do so. So is this to be the end of Australia's Olympic road? They fought valiantly here in Utrecht, but they've only 15 minutes left now to keep their dream alive. That very fine goal by Numan means we now have just 15 minutes to play as we restart the second period of extra time, and Refanes has won the ball from the fullback Rekos, and it's very much the onus on Australia now as Refanes gets the free kick. And they might as well throw caution to the wind. They have to get an equaliser, otherwise they'll go out 3-2 on aggregate, and that's having been in front at half-time of normal time. So don't despair yet in Australia. The chances are still there. The Dutch defence has not looked secure at times. The goalkeeper has caught everything so far, but he's going to have to stand his ground again because that free kick must be retaken. It's quite an afternoon's football in the sun, and it's certainly not all over yet. Zelic to float it in. He must keep it away from that goalkeeper because he's been sure in everything he's handled. 21 players are in the Dutch half as the ball is laid back by Ocon. It's nodded into the penalty area. Here's a chance now. It didn't break the line. Slivkas can drive it in, and it's gone wide. High and wide from George Slivkas, just when the man from Heidelberg had a chance of glory. Not really noted for his goal-scoring feats, and the linesman has signalled that that ball had been, the goal kick had been taken from the wrong place. It never went out, in fact. But it's the Dutch who are celebrating prematurely at the moment because they lead 2-1. Numan, who's in there for it then, got the goal. And here's danger once more. Oh, and the goalkeeper, well, it's a fly hack, and it could turn out very well as well. Viert is chasing it. That was a bit of bravado on Phelan's part. Here's Blagojevic. Has to win this. Knocks it inside. Zelic, how they need another goal from him. An uncomfortable clearance, but Towment knocks it out even further. Murphy is on the ball. Belted back in, but the goalkeeper claims it. And once more, Zoetebier has to win the admiration of the crowd. His anticipation excellent. And not a bad clearing kick either, but as De Boer was coming in on the left, was knocked back. "12 minutes to go. Holland still lead 2-1. Australia have a free kick halfway inside the Dutch half. It was conceded by Karnebek. As he jumped high above Aaron Basic, he was using the shoulders to prop himself up, and so here is Viert inside the penalty area. He's trying to turn on it as well, and Blagojevic coming in too. He's been a real willing workhorse as Milan Blagojevic. But they've 11 minutes left in which to save themselves. Australia trailing by 2-1. And now the free kick will be given Holland's way. There's not much doubt there that De Boer was held off in the tackle by a despairing Longo, who looks extremely tired. Both sides have used 2 substitutes, remember, and Holland have a free kick. If they score again, you would say that they are virtually through. At 2-1, they're in the driving seat, and here it's smacked into the wall by Karnebek. It broke kindly for them as well. Koku has played it down the line for Overmars. Talment inside that penalty area and laying it back. Got his shot, has gone to about row 48, I think, behind the goal. So Dingore unable to find the mark. He got a goal against Finland in a 7-1 victory in the qualifiers, but was way off beam there. And in fact, we've lost the ball. It's just come back now. Still 10 minutes left, and Australia really giving it all they've got in the heat here in Holland. It really is ironic that the Dutch went to Sydney and complained about the heat there, and it's a much warmer day here in Utrecht. But the heat is really on for Australia at the moment. 2-1 down, and the onus really on them to come out now and try and snatch something. The 2-2 draw, of course, would be good enough to take them through on the away goals rule. So we are not going to have a penalty shootout no matter what happens now, because if the scoreline stays at 2-1, Holland go through to Barcelona and the final's 3-2 on aggregate. If Australia score again and it stays at 2-2, they would go through on the away goal rule. Knocked forward by Longo. Blagojevic in field. The interception was good from Rust. Murphy has come forward. Only Longo left back. Everybody otherwise is in the Dutch half. And they'll stay there as it comes to Murphy again. This time he finds Ocon. Ocon has confidence in his ability to get past 2 players and then feed it wide for Viet, who's struggling really to keep this one in, but just does so. It's Blagojevic, in fact. Blagojevic wanting to go on the outside, will win a corner off De Boer. Is this to be Australia's hope? A corner, Blagojevic has taken it. Ocon, it's a good ball in as well, and the keeper comes and gets his palms on it. Oh, and here is danger. The keeper was off his line and he straight away found Meyer. And Meyer, it's Vidmar who's got back. He's got to do it all by himself, and he's chipped the keeper. Good effort as well, and Meyer was unlucky. Give him credit here. He slowed down really as Vidmar came across to make the challenge. It's an audacious chip, and there was nothing much that Phelan could do about it. It looped over the bar with about 6 inches to spare. But that was the danger that Australia have, of course, as soon as they funnel everybody forward, as they've got to do in search of this equaliser, which of course would turn out to be a winner. They're stretched, and here they are stretched again. And he's gone on the outside. Overmars can finish it, and Overmars' shot is touched wide by Phelan, and the goalkeeper touched that ball, I'm sure, and the referee has given a goal kick. Well, he could have fed Talment in. Overmars decided to go alone, chased all the way by Murphy. He gets the shot in. I thought the goalkeeper got a despairing fingernail to it, but a goal kick was the decision, much to Australia's relief. But it's clear that Holland could win this 3-1 if Australia don't get a second, because they are leaving huge gaps at the back and they are very exposed now. Zelic is in the Dutch half. He's looking for support and finding not much. Slivkas has knocked it back. 1 or 2 rather tired-looking passes in this move. They've got to find a gap. None was there. And again, Holland come forward with 4 against 2. And he's onside, and Talment, and he gets round the keeper. Could have clinched it. Credit again to Phelan, who read it and came and made sure that Talment didn't get there. Well, what a fascinating cat-and-mouse game it is now. Australia getting everybody forward, leaving themselves exposed in defence. Who is going to pay the penalty? Well, it's Russian roulette, and it's looped off the defender, and that shot from Vidmar got nowhere. Time absolutely of the essence now. They make it about 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes for Australia to prevent Holland winning the prize of a trip to Barcelona and the Olympic Games this summer. It really has been a valiant effort by Eddie Thompson's side, going in front, and they looked good value as well at half-time. They could, in fact, have led 3-0 at the break. Meyer is up there. Now it's with the fullback, Refos. They're trying to pull them apart. And it's teed up again for Numan, and Numan is in here, and Numan, well, he really would have been the hero then. He's already created and finished off one superb effort, and if he'd scored then, his name would have been the one in the headlines in the papers tomorrow morning. He's so fleet of foot, but again, Thailand did his job well. A trip, a free kick for Australia, and Viet took it from the wrong place. 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes for Australia to save their Olympic skins. And Blagojevic has lobbed it to the edge of the penalty box. They've a lot of men up here. Here's a chance. Oh, it's hooked wide. That was the opportunity for the Australian captain, and Zelic, who's got the one goal for Australia so far today, hooks the chance wide. Otherwise, his name would have been up in lights. The real disappointment for Ned Zelic there. It was a good opening. He didn't have really time to look and size up the acuteness of the angle. But it was one of those that could have flown in. As it happened, it went wide. Four and a half minutes left. Still Holland at 2-1 in the ascendancy. They're in possession with Gore. He's given it away this time, but the ball has to be transferred up front very quickly by Thailand. It's 2 against 3, and it's Koku who got there. Blagojevic has come for it. Overmars back to deny him. And again, the Australian defence opening up a little bit as De Boer is in control, and he's happy to waste a few extra seconds. And, they're making the Australians chase, as you would expect them to do. First 45 minutes went so well for Australia with Ned Zelic's excellent goal. But then once Holland had equalised through their substitute, Ronald de Boer, they were on the rack for a while, Australia. Had chances of their own. And let's not forget that in that first half, the midfield player, Gary Hasler, hit the upright with one shot. There was an effort which flew over the top of the crossbar from Aaron Basic. And Tony Vidmar had a header cleared from no more than a couple of feet from the line. But now they have no more than 3 minutes in which to change the course of this game. And Holland wasting up a few more precious seconds. The French referee, Monsieur Leduc, says, come on, let's get on with the game. And De Boer does that. Is there anything Australia can do to salvage their place? The crowd here would certainly be stunned, I will tell you, if Australia did get another goal in the remaining 2.5 minutes. But for the moment, it's the Dutch who are on their way to Spain. As the ball will be picked up by De Boer, who really got them back into it with his goal. Taumens can do no more than toe poke it to Slivkas. Australia need to make ground quickly. Whatever they do has got to be filled with urgency. There's a good ball played. And the keeper has come, and Zelic has got past him. And Zelic, oh, it was basically, he scored! Ned Zelic has scored for Australia. An extraordinary goal. And Zelic has stunned the crowd here in Utrecht. And the Australians are going wild from the most unbelievable angle. Zelic slams Australia surely now into the Olympic finals in Barcelona. It's 2-2. He gets a kiss from Blagojevic, but Zelic must concentrate on the job in hand again now. What a job he's done for his country today, and I'm sure back in Australia the whole tubes are hitting the throats because Ned Zelic has made it 2-2, and if that's the way it stays, Australia go through. 3-3 is the aggregate score. The away goals will count double for Australia, and they will not need the luxury or otherwise of a penalty shootout. Well, what an upset now. Zelic, the hero. 2 goals for him, 2 for Australia. It's 2-2, and I reckon we've got 30 seconds of time left for the Dutch to book their passage to Barcelona. But really now, the odds favour the Australians again, and the Olyroos, a fantastic effort. Many teams would have given up when that goal was scored by Numan for Holland. It really looked as though it was the Dutch who were going to Barcelona, but to their credit, Eddie Thompson's side have never given in. They've chased every ball, every lost cause, and that goal now from Ned Zelic might just be good enough to book them a summer trip to Barcelona. They're in possession as well. It's every hand to the pump. It's not all over yet, because Numan, who'll be so disappointed after the lead he's set, has played the ball to Overmars. It's out of play for a throw to Holland, and we've moved into time added on. There's a huge electronic scoreboard which says 2 on it, and it's been saying 1 all afternoon. I hope it doesn't signify that there are 2 minutes left, but who knows. The danger here once more, and Fireland can't hold it. Salmons is in here, still the danger, and the ball is knocked away by Ocon. And no whistle had sounded, there was no free kick. And that was a chance for the Dutch themselves. Remember, it's 3-3 on aggregate now. 3-3, another goal for Holland, and they will go through. If it stays this way, it's Australia who will go to the Olympic finals. What a dramatic finale. It couldn't have been better if it had been set in a theatre. And what a storybook for Ned Zelic if Australia do make it to Barcelona. He's their captain, he's scored both their goals, and that second one, I have to say, well, defied description really, because he was almost on the dead ball line when he hammered that ball in hard and low. I can't wait to ask him, I've got to say, after the match, whether he intended it as a centre or a shot. It doesn't matter, because the ball flew wide of Zoetebier into the Dutch net, and that got absolute ecstasy going on the Australian bench. But it's still not over. Viet nods the ball out. All eyes now on the referee. We're way into injury time by my watch, as the ball is headed out by that hero Murphy, as he's done so often today. Still the danger there, and the ball is claimed now by goalkeeper Thailand. Australia have won, I think. They're on the pitch, and indeed it's all over. Australia are through to Barcelona and to the Olympic finals, and the Olyroos are going absolutely mad here in Utrecht as the Dutch troop crestfallen from the pitch. It looked so bad for Australia when the second Dutch goal was scored by the captain and their inspiration, Arthur Numan. It really did. But then, dramatically, Ned Zelic drove that ball into the Dutch net with no more than a couple of minutes to go. And that left us with a final score here of 2-2. And it means that Australia are through to the Olympic finals in Barcelona on the away goals rule, having qualified despite that final result of 3-3. The Dutch players are still sitting out there. The Australians totally jubilant. They are celebrating. The Dutch can't believe it. The first of their players have already gone into the dressing room. So just let me summarise for the last time over those joyous shots of the Australian side and their manager, Eddie Thompson. This is the moment that has taken Australia to the Olympic Games and to Barcelona. Ned Zelic eluding the outstretched leg of the defender, Carnabeek, and from that angle, who would have believed it possible that he could have scored? It's a goal, and that's all that matters. 2 goals for Zelic have been sufficient, although Holland had come back and they'd scored themselves through Boer in the second half and Numan in extra time. It's Zelic and the Australians and the Scot Eddie Thompson who will be going to Barcelona and to the Olympic Games. Congratulations then to the Australians. We'll see you in Barcelona. Bye-bye from John Helm in a very, very